Today, a lot of restaurant owners truly believe that their biggest problem is that they don't know enough. If they only had the right information, the right strategy, the right system, the right secret formula, then everything would finally click into place. But not only is that not true, it's actually the opposite of what's happening today. See, restaurant owners are not suffering from a lack of information. In fact, they're literally drowning in it. The real skill, the thing that separates operators who burn out from operators who grow, is not knowing more. It's knowing what to ignore. That's exactly what issue 3 of our magazine, Restaurant Marketing Monthly, is all about. Our theme is regaining focus when everything feels urgent. And I want to be direct about something up front. See, this is not a collection of hacks or quick fixes. The issue is built around a single core idea that clarity has become a competitive advantage in the restaurant industry today. And the operators who cultivate it today are going to be the ones who survive the next 5 years. Let's get into the video. Okay, the first thing to realize is that most restaurants don't lose focus all at once. It happens gradually, over time. Maybe a new delivery platform launches and you feel like you absolutely need to be on it. Or maybe a competitor runs a promotion and you feel like you need to match that or you're going to be left out. Or maybe a customer leaves a review that really stings and you spend the next 3 hours really thinking about that review instead of focusing on the things that actually are going to move your business forward. Our feature article, When Everything Feels Urgent, walks through this exact process in detail. We talk about how operators drift from clarity into chaos without even realizing it. And here's what I mean. Every single day, you make very important decisions about where to put your attention. Now, most of these decisions feel small in the moment, but over 6 months, over the course of a year, those small decisions begin to compound. And what you end up with a lot of times is a business that's more complex, more stressful, and a lot harder to manage than it needs to be. So, what does that mean? Well, it means that focus is not a personality trait, it's a skill. And like any skill, it can be honed, it can be refined, it can be improved, and it can be regained if it's lost. The second thing to understand is that your menu is doing a lot more work than you might think it is. And I'm not talking about whether the font is readable or the description sound appetizing. I'm talking about something much deeper. In our article, Chicken Tenders versus Escargot, we examine how menus communicate who your restaurant is for. Not just what you serve, but who you serve. What experience should someone expect when they walk through the front door of your restaurant? See, when a guest opens up your menu, they're not just deciding what to order. They're asking themselves questions that they're not even consciously aware of. For example, they're asking, is this the right place for me? Do I understand exactly what this restaurant is all about? Is this the right place, the right atmosphere, the right vibe for the experience or the event or the situation that I really want my dining experience to be tailored for? Am I going to feel comfortable here or am I going to feel a little bit uptight or out of place? Do I need a jacket or is this more of a relaxed, casual vibe? And if your menu is sending mixed signals, then it's trying to be everything to everyone all at once. And that in turn creates hesitation. And in a recession, hesitation kills sales. Now, let's talk briefly about something that affects almost every single independent restaurant owner, but almost never gets discussed as a legitimate business problem. Our article, Avoiding Burnout: Why You Can't Run a Clear Business with a Tired Mind, we look at exhaustion through an operational lens. Not so much wellness, not so much self care. This isn't about taking more breaks throughout the day, although that does matter. This article is really asking a different question. See, what actually happens to your judgment when you're running on empty? What happens to your consistency, your leadership, your ability to think strategically instead of reacting to whatever fire happens to be burning at this particular moment? And here's what the research suggests. When a person running the business is mentally exhausted, the effects don't stay contained. They ripple. Your staff feels it, your guests feel it, and eventually your margins feel it. So the question becomes, is your own mental state the bottleneck in your business? And if it is, what exactly do you do about it? Check out issue 3 and find out. The next thing to understand about this is that consumer behavior is shifting in many ways that restaurant owners are missing. Our article, The Return of Dessert, examines a trend that seems counterintuitive on the surface. Here's what I mean. See, customers are a lot more cautious about their spending right now. We all know that. That's no big secret. But small indulgences, desserts, those are starting to gain traction. So, what does that mean? It means that consumers aren't necessarily spending less, they're just spending differently. And understanding why someone will say no to, let's say, a higher price entree, but then turn around and say yes to a dessert tells us something important about what they're actually looking for when they dine out. See, these seemingly small purchasing decisions reveal a lot about where consumer psychology is heading in this economy. And the operators who understand that psychology are going to have an advantage. Now, I want to shift gears a bit and talk about something that predates every single marketing tactic you've ever heard of. I'm talking about before social media, before email lists, before loyalty programs, before any of it. Our article, Free Smells: Why the Oldest Marketing Technique in History Still Works in 2026, examines scent as a marketing tool. And I know that sounds almost too simple, right? But consider this. Long before anyone could look up your restaurant on Google, people chose where to eat based on what they could smell from the street. This article examines why that principle isn't going anywhere and why a lot of restaurants are leaving attention on the table by ignoring sensory marketing completely. Because here's the thing, you're already sending a scent signal to every person who walks past your restaurant. The question is whether you're being intentional about it. The final piece in this issue isn't really about robots, even though the title mentions autonomous delivery. Our article, Autonomous Delivery Has Arrived, is really about consumer expectations. See, DoorDash and other delivery platforms are investing heavily in automation, not because robots are fun, exciting, or cool, but because speed and convenience are becoming the baseline expectations for consumers and by extension for your diners. This article examines what that means for independent restaurants, not in a panic, the sky is falling type of way, but practically. See, we want to know what should you actually be paying attention to as this technology evolves. What expectations are being shaped in real time that will affect your business whether you use delivery platforms or not? Because understanding where this industry is headed is not optional. What is optional is how you respond to it. Okay, here's what all six of these articles point toward. See, the challenge facing restaurant owners right now is not a lack of information. If anything, the opposite is true. There's more data, more advice, more platforms, more strategies than there have ever been before. The skill that matters now is determining exactly what deserves your attention, what can wait, and how to maintain clarity in a business that will happily consume every hour you give it and still ask for more. Issue three is not about doing more, it's about thinking more clearly. In the post pandemic economy, it's important to remember two things. Number one, just having good food is not good enough anymore. And number two, if no one walks through the front door of your restaurant, then nothing else matters. I'm Donovan Garrett. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next video.